what users are experiencing. It's influencing what they type in. It's influencing the results, of influencing what you can actually access from a single search box. So enterprise search is the first step in that, where you have a single search box that finds things. But where we're really going and where MarkLogic has been deeply, deeply involved is targeted search applications. Getting the right content to the right user at the right time when they search for it, allowing them to get right to it. And this kind of balance between the precision you need to get as you get more and more data and the fact that the data is always getting bigger is driving a lot of change in the world of information access. The search begins with a simple technology, which is to find versus an inverted table find the actual documents. And it begins to evolve into a product strategy, an information strategy, the notion that you need to be able to access what you understand who the user is so you can access the most influential piece of information. So there's one trend going around, which is I want to be precise and I'm looking across a bigger and bigger set. Second trend is that there's something happening in big data that's driving not just the outcomes. I'll talk about the things that you can find if you have this notion of big data. But there's actually something happening at the process level, which is very fundamental to a lot of the way you can leverage presenting that right information to the user. And it's this ability to operate closer to the raw data. So if you can begin to go and work on the raw data and actually integrate the search directly on it, you're skipping a lot of steps. We talked a lot about that this morning, or data integration steps. But you're also getting complete and better results because you're able to look at all the different facets of the data. So a traditional search of the traditional environment is the bottom. You're taking your data, you do a lot of integration to shove it into the right format, and then you can do your searching. And the big data approach is that you actually just work right on the raw sources. And you're able to do the integration and the search in the same format. So these two things, which is the push and pull of getting more data and the precision, and then kind of an operational technical approach, but being able to work on the raw results, on the raw sources, have a big influence in what's happening. So to join me today, as I said, so I'm Matt Turner. I'm a Chief Technologist for Media Solutions at MarkLogic. And joining me today is Bunny Poppy. He is the Vice President of Engineering at CQ Roll Call. CQ Roll Call is authoritative information about everything that's happening on Capitol Hill. Now, I messed up the order, so I'm going to redo a joke in a second. Beverly Jamison is our Senior Director of IT Architecture from the American Psychological Association. And Amy Swigert is the Vice President of Information Management from Associated Press. So the AP tells us what's happening. Every day, hundreds of thousands of stories. A massive amount of information coming through the AP. Pictures, everything that's out there. Wendy's team at CQ Roll Call tells us what's really happening. Behind the scenes, what's going on in Congress, where's the influence? And then Beverly's team are out there to help us access to site and understand the influence that's happening out in the world, and of course setting the standards for all research to actually make sense of the world. So I think we have, both from a search perspective, but also from an information perspective, a great panel. And we're going to go through some intros of some context setting, and then we're going to have a big discussion. And that is Wendy.
So I'm Benny Katibia, I'm CQ Roll Call. CQ Roll Call actually has different areas of operation, but we're focusing primarily in this case on the legislative research and analysis, which is one of the biggest components actually for CQ Roll Call. Primarily, actually, what we focus on is, as Matt mentioned, what really is happening on the Hill, actually, all the Hill in Congress in terms of the legislation, in terms of the analysis, in terms of the lobbying and the back and forth between the different actual sides of the coin. We are the leading provider of the congressional information and legislative tracking. We've been at it for quite a long time. The company started actually back in 1945. We've been around since '84, on the web since '95. Our clients actually span the entire policy-making area, whether it is actually lobbyists, whether it is law firms, whether it is corporations, whether it is actually lawmakers themselves, whether it is agencies. It's ironic that actually lawmakers do need to buy our information so they can understand what the heck is going on as well. We actually we provide everything in regards to Secure.com. It's a subscription-based service. The vast majority of the information we produce is behind the subscription wall. And we collect data at this point from about 3 dozen actually different sources and publications of different properties. And that content set actually just keeps growing, and that's why I take 3 dozen, because I don't really remember the exact count at this point. In terms of the flagship actually product is Secure.com, and we're focusing on that one. We provide all these databases and searches actually, and the users are focused primarily, if we talk about search, it's a wide variety of searches actually, from very simple, straightforward, we call it Google-like search, into very complex Boolean searches. And when I say actually complex Boolean searches, they are about actually a page long. It's tough for me even to follow through the logic in terms of what I'm trying to define. The documents themselves actually are from very small, a sentence long, a paragraph long, things like actually a schedule. X meeting is going to happen on room so and so in a particular building on the hill, to a very lengthy bill. In particular, some important bills which are called appropriations or authorization section, which has actually a lot of money associated with it. For each and every type of these documents, the users need the accurate data. It's interesting because we absorb more and more data, but at the end of the day, the users are going to say, I need actually the information. I don't care really how much data you have and how much support information I care about, because sometimes actually a small piece, a small paragraph. Just as an example, for example, what they focus on, in one particular authorization bill, U.S. Navy Research and Development, I don't exactly remember the office, but it was one paragraph that wiped out the entire budget for a particular project. One paragraph from about 500 pages long bill. That's what they needed. They could care less about the rest of the bill. But actually, that funding would be gone from the paragraph. In the services, actually, they need accuracy, but they also need an overview of where things are. And we use the search as the core of the information to provide both the high-level overview as well as the low-level. When we talk about the high-level overview, we focus on how does it fit into their workflow, how do they use it as both actually an overview of just getting your surroundings and knowing what's happening across the board, but at the same time, every single detail is one click away. And that's how actually we merge how actually we did with our project, being able to delve from the overall debuting this particular piece as we see in this slide, with the ability to click in a particular section actually of the speech on just the House of the Senate, and to delve into the particular words that the member of Congress actually spoke about. And also see the video. Yeah, that's true actually, and also see the video as well. It's actually very, very important, particularly for members of Congress themselves. At the same time, actually, the search serves as a core piece of us to get actually further deep into the user workflow. It's not a matter actually about finding the particular document. It's just providing with specific pointers as to where's the information that they need, and possibly to live in a specific paragraph. Now we have actually time limitations here. We couldn't delve deeper, but you can see here, for example, a description on a particular United States code text. You can see actually at the end of the day, these are all searches, but we pull them all in one page. The specific sections, the bills that would change the U.S. code, the public laws, aka over bills that did change the specific U.S. code, there would be actually another section below in terms of the other changes impacted by it. But the idea is that search here fits better into the workflow. It's not about the user doesn't come in for the search. The user comes for a different purpose here. It's trying to find a specific piece of information to integrate into something else. And if we talk about prior version, what we used to have, we used to have different actual databases. As a matter of fact, for different congresses. And the user would go into each particular database or each particular congress and go and look at a specific piece of document, whether it's built text media report, our user analysis pieces. They'd copy and paste, they'd dump into their report because their boss asked, I'm talking to Senator so-and-so, with Jeff Sessions or Harry Reid, and I will read the report at 8 p.m. So they would go actually look at the member's profile, they look at the member's bio, the voting record, they look at specific votes, the bills actually really responsive, and get all these, go to all these pages actually in particular details, assemble, copy and paste into Word, enter actually the information. It goes a pretty laborious process. What we have actually come to at this stage is they can go to